All right, I believe we are live. I'm going to just check the team page for a second, make sure we're all good. Now, hold on a second. Refreshing. You know what? We're live. So we're going to kind of get this thing going, rock and roll. What's up, you guys? Thank you so much for being here. Welcome to all the new team members. Welcome to everybody. Thank you guys so much for being here. I see you guys all chatting already, getting excited to hear from Scott. I hope you guys are as excited as I am because this guy is really impactful. I had the opportunity to meet him at convention in Florida, and some of the things that he had spoken about really stuck with me. And I know that they're going to stick with you guys too. And I'm really excited to introduce him today. He's a father, a husband, been in this industry for quite some time now. And his experiences are so similar to even the youngest network marketer, to somebody who's had experience in the past. It's his duplication. It's his attitude toward things. It's the fact that he went from being this shy kind of introverted guy to saying, you know what, I'm going to push all my chips in and go for it. What he says, if you sit back, relax, take some notes here, and try to understand exactly where he's coming from, you'll see that part of him is part of you too, right? You'll understand exactly where he's coming from, and you're going to take away the same things that I did. I hope when you end this call or when we end this hangout, you get out there and you're going to say, you know what, I can do this too. Because if he can, you know what, Scott, if he can do it, all of us can do it.
You could say that. That's fine. That's fine.
I meant that in the nicest way. So without further ado, you guys, I'm going to introduce you guys to Scott Aguilar. Thanks, Scott, so much for being here.
You bet. You bet. You guys listened, you know, the benefit and just what a big deal it is for you to be able to be connected with Cheryl, and just when somebody's committed and you can be connected with somebody that's committed, it's a big deal, you know, so don't take that for granted. You know, sometimes we have great parents and we just kind of take it for granted after a while because we got great parents, you know, we just assume, hey, we got great parents. But just know that when you have somebody that's all in and committed as a team leader and put this stuff on, then it's a big deal, because this doesn't all just happen, you know, like these on-air events and stuff. So, you know, she had asked me a little bit to come on and just kind of share with you for a couple of minutes. You know, we have been in the industry for a long time. It's almost it's kind of crazy to say. I mean, it's been 3 chapters before MWR. It was a company called Excel in 1997, which is crazy, right? I was even alive then. I was. In 1997, I was 22. I got involved in that company, didn't know anything about anything. It was a long-distance phone company, and my dad just said, hey, you know, this is a way to make some money. And the thing is that I was not open at the time. And that's what so many of you guys got to just understand, that a lot of good people are not going to be open when you show it to them, but you got to stay connected with them. And the thing is that most people quit. 90% of people in this industry quit in 90 days. It is what it is. I mean, that's the real deal. You can tweak those numbers, right, by doing stuff like this. You could, you know, by doing things where you're grouping people together, you can always tweak the odds. But the numbers are the numbers, right? So, you know, the thing is that I wasn't open. You know, I'm like, those things don't work. It's one of those things, just a pain in the butt. People get excited. Everybody sits around and holds hands and sings songs and stays broke. And I just didn't have time for that, man. I just, you know, I have a very short attention span. So for me, I'm not going to mess around with something that doesn't give me a result. But anyway, probably about 6 months later, I'm working at the bank, and Bank of America, and a lady got out of her review, and her button said 32 years of service at Bank of America. And I don't know. I mean, I was 22 and she'd been working there for 32 years. So I'm just like, man, I got to get out. You know, I want to do something different, you know. And what's funny is that I'm the guy that would stand there at the bank and I would look out on the little bumps in the road. And I don't know where you live, if you guys have bumps on the road. Sometimes there's bumps on the road and sometimes there's not, you know, depending on where you live. But where I was from, up by Lake Tahoe, up there in the snow and all that, there's bumps on the road and, you know, little divider things or whatnot. And I was just thinking one day, I'm like, damn, whoever came up with the idea to put bumps on the road, they're on some island right now. And all they had to do was think about bumps on the road, you know? And so I don't know, my brain started to turn when I really started to hate my job, you know? And it wasn't that I hated my job. I just hated being stuck. I just didn't like, I didn't feel free. You know, it's said that an entrepreneur would rather work 80 hours a week for themselves than 40 hours a week for somebody else. And that's true, man. I mean, I'd rather work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for me, rather than go clock in and clock out for making somebody else rich, right? So anyway, so we were in that company for quite some time. But let me say this: we joined that company, and everybody above us had quit. There was nobody in our upline at all. Had no help. There were some big dogs above us, but they had long quit. And here's another thing: we joined that company after 1 million people. 1 million people had already come in, and then we got in. So this whole thing about timing and this and that, it's somewhat important, but we created our own luck. I created my own timing. I created my own momentum. None of that stuff mattered. I didn't care that the company was in momentum. Who gives a rip if the company's in momentum? Are you in momentum? And so anyhow, but we were there for about 8 years, and it was big. I learned a lot. I learned a lot about myself. I learned that I am pretty lazy as a person. Overall, I'm a pretty lazy person, and I have to motivate myself to do stuff, right? And I have to be accountable, and I have to get after it. And I just remember at one point, I spent way too many days out by the pool, and I'm thinking that, oh, I'm retired, I'm making some money now. And then I'm like, oh, damn, where's my team? And so your team will do what you do. So don't go being retired until you got a really, really, really big team, right? So anyway, it was a good lesson for me to learn. And, we had to go out and rebuild. So when people say to me, they're like, oh, I got to start over again. I can't believe I have to start over again. I'm like, bro, do you even know how many times I've started over? I mean, it's not even funny. So listen, so here's the thing, right? So we were in that company for some time, and we just learned a lot. I mean, I learned a lot of what not to do. I mean, back in the day, we would hand out DVDs or VHS tapes back in the day to people and be like, hey, watch that and get it back to me, And yeah, right. I mean, it was just like, oh my God, whoever sold me that thing, man, it was horrible because I was chasing people like crazy, and it was just like I could never get a result, and sitting down and signing somebody up on the spot was just unheard of. And then here's the thing is that I went to an event one day. We were not going to go. So check this out. We were 2 hours away from this event, right? So we're 2 hours away, and we tell our team, we're like, hey, we're going to go to this event. Let's all carpool together, because we've done this once or twice in the past. And anyway, so we're like, okay, let's do this. And it's a Saturday event, and it's 2 hours away. It starts at probably 10. So we're meeting at probably 7:30. And, when you don't have a job anymore, you're like 7:30 is kind of early. You don't normally wake up early, right? Like 6 o'clock or whatever. But anyway, we woke up, and this is so crazy because I remember this. I remember getting there, and none of our people were there. None of our people. They didn't show up. And it was all like legitimate excuses, like my aunt died or something legit, right? It wasn't like my hamster broke his leg. So what happened is one excuse after another. And we just looked at each other. Molly and I, we just had looked at each other, and we're like, well, we're already up. We should just go. And we were so close to not going. See, that's the thing, is that success is it's such a fine, tiny little line. It's the tiniest little thing, that will put you in the over the top crowd versus everybody else. I mean, you just got to imagine I kind of think of it like a whole bunch of crabs in a bucket or whatever. It's just a whole bunch of them, right? And it's like one of them tries to escape, right? And it's just like in this business, you get caught up in just being one of just I call it white noise. All the people, everyone, it's all this white noise of people that are clueless, right? That are banging their head against the wall, that are not getting any results and all this stuff. It's the smallest, tiniest little slight edge that can take you out of that. And that's what we wanted. That's what I've always wanted. I want to get out of everybody else, all these struggling freaking people. I don't want to I get this energy off of me with these struggling people. Even though I'm one of them back in the day, right? I was one of them. But get this, I don't want to hang with these people. I want to be with those other people. And we went to this event. Here's the power of one event. We went to an event, and this young couple, they got up there, and they showed how you can sit down with somebody, and if you build a connection with them up front, and then you explain to them that you're going to show them some information, and then after that information, you're just simply going to see whether or not, if they feel like they're into it or they're not, you're going to get a decision. Either, yeah, this is something I see as valuable, or it's not, one or the other. And listen to this. This is crazy, but I think that next month personally probably enrolled 30 people in a month, personally enrolled. And that went from sucking prior to that. And all this is cold market. It was all cold market. It was nobody on our list. This was all like, I mean, hey man, that we had worn out our list well prior to this event, right? And so, people say, well, where did you find people? I'm like, dude, where do you find people? You just say hi to people everywhere. I mean, shoot. Anyway, that's a whole nother training. But anyway, we sat down with people and like enrolled people within 45 minutes. I couldn't believe it. People were giving me their credit card number in 45 minutes. And I'm just like, this is awesome. And all I had to do was I had to understand how to frame it, how to make it work, right? Like up front, like just basic stuff. It was no crazy putting a spell on somebody. But what I'm trying to say is that was the power of one event. That was one event. And I almost didn't go to that event. And I don't know, who knows, right? I don't know what would have happened if I didn't go. Anyway, so that was that company. Long distance went away. That company went away, and that sucks, right? So imagine having a big team. Imagine making like close to $1 million. It was a couple of years. It was like 7 years. I think we did like 900 grand in 7 years, which you might think, oh, that's a lot of money, but dude, you're spending money too, So we were just barely doing okay, really. So anyway, that was that. Then we went into another company that was a marketing company, and very similar to MWR. And that's a piece of why I'm here, is because I understand the marketing thing, which I'll share in a second. But a pure marketing company. And then we're in that company, and here's the thing with that is that by that point we knew how to do this. Our first year we made $132,000. Our first year we cranked it up, we doubled it after that. I mean, we made a ton of money, and it's because we knew how to do it. It's the same thing here. We already know how to do it. It's like when I sat down with Yoni, I'm like, it's a done deal, because I already know how to do it. I know A to Z, already how to put it together. All we're lacking is a couple thousand people, which is not a big deal, because if you have the framework, the people come. As long as you have the process, the people fill in the holes. It's not a big deal. And then that experience, we were there for about 8 years. And then that was a very similar comp plan to what we're doing here in MWR. And then we went into a nutrition company after that. That company went out of business, which sucked. Imagine having huge income and then overnight that going away. And it is what it is, man. So people say, oh, I'm jaded about network marketing. Oh man, they burnt me, I'm like, bro, 30,000 a month to zero. Who should be pissed, right? I mean, give me a break. I mean, in all reality, but it's never been about that for me. It's never been about that, because this industry, the people that are in it, what it's about, I mean, when it's going, it is the best thing ever. I mean, it's better than all the other stuff. What are you going to do? Get a job, clock in and out, own a traditional business that owns you? I mean, what are you going to do? So, what would we all like to do? Chill on some beach somewhere with our kids and hang out 24/7 probably, right? That would be awesome. But we got to create cash flow. Anyway, I'm getting off track. Then we got into my next door neighbor. My neighbor was 25 years old at the time, and he showed me his app, and he made $50,000 that week as the number 2 earner in a nutrition company. He was doing 200 grand a month. He was the number 2 earner in that company. And I thought to myself, I've never been in a nutrition company. It's a healthy energy drink. Tastes kind of good. It's a binary. I don't really understand this binary thing that well. I've kind of heard about it. It sounds cool. People help people. All you got to do is build 2 legs. I mean, the presentation sounds really attractive. So anyway, we put 7,000 people in 6 months. And I got to tell you that I'm very happy to not be in a binary. How about that? I'll just leave it at that, right? Because I'm telling you that you get paid on the part that sucks. End of story. That's how it works, right? And so anyway, we built a huge business. We gave that company a ton of money, and we got paid on the crappy part, right? So anyway, thank God that went out of business. I was very happy that company went out of business, right? And that sounds kind of bad, but it's true. And then so just kind of jaded, 3 companies, you build multi-million-dollar businesses, they go out of business, and then you're just like, damn, I got bad luck. I got bad luck. I should not do anything because things I touch seem to go out of business. And these are good, legitimate, big companies, right? So anyhow, what ended up happening is I just started doing some coaching, some generic home business coaching, and I have many, many clients. I still, to this day, I have some clients that have kind of paid and in the future for quite some time. And I've been at MWR for about 90 days. Really, it's been about 90 days. I sat down with Yoni. They had first approached me with the idea of possibly working in the corporate side, doing some work, doing some training for the corporate side of the company. I sat down with Yoni, and we're just trying to figure out how it could possibly work with where they're at right now. And I really got a good feeling from Yoni. I got a good feeling about the marketing strategy. Just the whole thing that he had put together is exactly, I'm not even kidding you. Like if I design my own company from beginning to end, like me sitting down, I would design it the exact same way that this is laid out right now. Like this is how I would design a company, the exact perfect company. And that's what I told him. I said, I don't want to do anything in corporate. I don't want anything in corporate because I can make way more money in the field. Put me in the field because that's how I know how to do this thing. I know how to kill it. And so what do we battle? What do we all battle? What we all battle in this business is the same thing that I battle. It's the same thing that you guys battle. And that is that brand new person helping them believe, right? I mean, it's just helping them believe that this is possible. And it doesn't matter if you've been around for a long time. Doesn't matter if you're Yoni, the CEO of the company. Doesn't matter if you're Coco here. Or doesn't matter, who you are. A person's only going to believe what their internal programming is going to let them believe. And we can't change that. We can give people room to grow. Darren Hardy, who's the publisher of Success Magazine, he asked the Marriott. The founder of Marriott, he asked the founder of Marriott, he says, how do you find, or how do you train these people to be like so nice and like so friendly? And, how do you train these people to be like so on top of it? And the founder of Marriott said, we don't do that. We find happy, friendly people and we find leader people. We don't train them, we find them. And man, that was huge for me back in the day. I mean, 15 years ago, when I figured out it's much easier to find leaders than to develop leaders, because that's tough for me to swallow, because I believe I was developed because I didn't start out talking how I'm talking right now to you guys, just chatting. It was an evolution for me. But the one thing I learned in network marketing, if you want to get rich in your lifetime, just go find good people. Go find people that are better than me. Go find people that are better than all of us here. Because, there's plenty of people out there that are way better than all of us. How do we get to those people? That's the thing, right? Because you're sitting there, you're thinking to yourself on a scale from 1 to 10, you're like, well, I'm a 3, I'm a 4, whatever the number is. I don't know. It's our own self-concept, right? And then you just think to yourself, okay, well, the easiest thing to do for me is to approach people that are either at my level or one notch lower. That's normal. That's like network marketing 101. That's like the normal people that people want to approach. But to hit this out of the park, like to really build network marketing how it's supposed to be built, is teach people to recruit up. Keep recruiting up, because a 4 can bring in a 5. A 4 maybe won't be able to bring in a 7 just because it's out of the realm of their social. A 7's going to hear them, but then the 7 might be like, I don't know, you're, without saying it, you're a 4. I don't know if I want to follow you into business, right? Basically, so what that is. But a 4 can bring in a 5, and a 5 can bring in a 6, and a 6 can bring in a 7. And if you're the one driving the team, then you're the one in there creating connections and relationships with people, and you're developing that with your team. However you end up doing it, right? Whatever beginning steps that you do with people, making a little bit of a list, categorizing who maybe are the people that are at your same level and above, and okay, hey, let's go talk to those people, because that's recruiting up, right? And just teaching other people to do that and driving depth in your team. One of the things that I had mentioned at convention when we were out there just recently, and I had the chance to meet a lot of you guys out there, and this next convention we're going to have it's going to be a whole different story. We're going to pack the room out and the whole different size room. See, here's the thing. Here's what's cool. There'll never be another convention in the second year of the company. We just did that one, right? If you weren't there, you missed it, right? And we know what it was like because we were there. But I got to tell you that we'll tell stories about it, I'm sure. But looking forward, next year, it's just going to get bigger and bigger. But anyway, being all in is not something to where you have to be like full-time all in. You can be a nurse, you could be stay-at-home mom. I mean, there's so many facets to all of our lives, right? I mean, I was just showing Cheryl here a minute ago. I got my water cup here, and I got Elsa on my water cup, right? I don't know if you could see Elsa or not. But we have a 5-year-old, so I'm chasing every day. It's like I'm waking up and ding, ding, ding. All right, here we go. Chase a 5-year-old around the house, right? And so we all have life. What I'm talking about being all in, I'm like being all in towards your vision, being all in towards where it is that you want to go. Like, where do you want to go? You know, and it's tough for people sometimes to put energy into seeing that. And that's why we do things called like a vision board. I'm sure you guys have talked about vision boards in the past and whatnot, but being able to have a vision board and cutting out pictures, even though it sounds like corny, but even on Pinterest, I mean, there's other ways of doing it. But the idea is that you want to create something that pulls you, because if it's not pulling you, then you're going to let the world pull you. And if the world pulls you, you're not going anywhere. So your vision somehow has to pull you, you know, and you have to get to a point that you're more uncomfortable doing nothing. Like literally right now, if I'm not doing this with you guys right now, I'm hanging out with the family or sitting there, you know, what this to me is exciting. That's my point. Being here, talking to you guys, seeing if, you know, who knows, maybe some of this is going to land on one of y'all that's going to be like, boom, something's going to happen. I don't know. Or maybe it's just the vibe. Maybe it's the energy. Maybe you're just going to catch some of that and just go out and rock your week or whatever it is. But all in is not a time thing. All in is a heart thing. It's a heart thing. It's in it, like it's inside of you being like, man, I'm doing it. See, for me, it's do or die. See, I don't know about some of you guys. You know, I don't know if you look at other things. Oh, I'm not gonna tell anybody. Shh, but I'm just gonna look at this other deal real quick, just to see. Don't know. I don't do that. I've never done that. Do top income earners do that? Question. Then why would you do it? Then why would you? You know, to me, that's never made sense, right? I mean, I want to do what the people that are making $100 grand a month or whatever. I want to do what the big dogs are doing, and they're not looking at other deals, right? It's all about being all in and having what I would call an unlimited tolerance threshold. I learned this from a friend of mine. His name is Jordan. We've done a lot of business together back in the day, and he talks about this and this concept about it having an unlimited tolerance threshold, meaning, and this is so big for you guys. At some point, because there's somebody watching this right now that's like, you know, you're good, you're here, you're plugged in, and God, I mean, how many people are not plugged in, right? That's a big number, but you're here, so you already separated yourself from a lot of people, which is great. But listen, at some point, something's going to happen. I don't know what it's going to be. You're going to put in that one person that you thought for sure would be amazing, and they end up quitting after like a week, or something, some other negative crap is going to happen most likely, because I mean, you're going against the grain. You're building something, right? You're putting yourself out there. But here's the deal. Here's what we know is that if you have an unlimited tolerance threshold, it doesn't matter what happens. You're here. You're all in. And here's the crazy thing about being all in. When you're all in, people feel it. Like, people want to be on somebody's team that's all in. Can you imagine joining somebody that was wishy-washy? You know, it's like this. If I go to the pool and I go put my foot in and I'm like, feels good, jump in. That's the same idea. It's the same concept. And so recommendation to you guys is be all in, because if you're all in, that's how you get in all in people. And it's not all in time, it's all in heart. It's all in like your energy is like, I'm doing this until I win. And that's been the thing for us, right? And I don't care. Everyone's got a story. I don't know where you've been in the past. I don't know what company that you've been a part of. I don't know what type of leadership there was. This is different. I get a lot of times people say to me, well, what's going to make this different than the last thing I was in? Simple answer to that question. You're going to make this different. Your energy is going to make this different. Your tone's going to make this different. How you come across to people is going to make this different. All right. So it's a different day. Everything is different. So the people that get stuck in this thing that's like, well, I don't know, I was in 3 other deals and now I'm going to talk to my friends again. Oh my gosh, what am I going to say? See, the thing is that you even thinking that way, you're selfishly just thinking about you. You're not thinking about these people. Because if you were thinking about the people, you would say to yourself, okay, I just want to go and see where these people are in terms of being open to this concept, right? Because timing is everything. Maybe last time when you showed them XYZ company, they had a bad week that week. Who knows what really was the reasoning that they didn't join, or maybe they did join, or whatever happens. But this is different. It's a different day. It's a different company. It's a different leadership. It's a different story. And let me highlight this story here real quick. I kind of wrap that up. Let me highlight this idea of a buffet. You guys got to get this. There's too many companies out there. Listen, this is crazy. There's so many people out there that are going to sell you. They're going to talk to you about, oh, I'm in this company, or I'm in that company, or I've done this, and I call them like steakhouse companies. So a steakhouse company would be a nutrition company. You know, let's I don't know, let's throw out a few. Herbalife, a nutrition company. Isogenics, nutrition company, right? So nothing's wrong with any of that. I'm just saying that they're steakhouse company, meaning they're one thing companies. It's about one idea. It's that one brand. It's that one concept, and that's fine. There's other companies that are service companies that are, you know, that are one thing. Okay, when you can be in a company, and this is where we made our millions and millions of dollars, was this concept. But it took me a while to get it. And even though I'm going to say it to you right now, you might not get it for months. But it's this simple concept. Once you can get in your mind that you're in a marketing company and you do not get excited about any services that we have, because you're smart enough to know that it doesn't matter what the services are, they can come and go over the years, which they're going to. It can evolve. But what you're focused on is you're focused on building points of distribution. That's it. Imagine you having a soda machine full of Mountain Dew because you freaking love Mountain Dew. You are all about Mountain Dew, right? You're just like the Mountain Dew queen, right? You're like, Mountain Dew is like your thing. You love green and everything. Well, here's the thing though. You're pumped about Mountain Dew, and you got these soda machines. You're like, oh yeah, Mountain Dew. And then, and I come along and I got a soda machine, and I got Coke and Diet Coke, and I got this and that, and I got Mountain Dew too, and some other stuff, whatever. And we put our soda machines at the same college. Okay. Yours is shinier than mine, and maybe even cheaper on the Mountain Dew. It doesn't matter. Who's going to get more customers? I will every time. Because why? I'm diversified. It's the same thing here, you guys. What we're doing, a steakhouse. Think about this. Think about a casino, and then think about a steakhouse and a buffet. Okay. At a casino, you got a steakhouse and you got a buffet. They're side by side usually, or they're pretty close in proximity. And always, what's busier? Always the buffet. The buffet is always busier, because you know what they serve at the buffet? Steak. They have steak at the buffet. Imagine that, right? So understand that you got to get this in your mind, because once you lock down on this concept, you're not going to get overly excited, or you're not going to be like, well, what's the service? If I can't believe in the service, I'm not going to do the business. You're like, are you serious? Are we in some vitamin deal? Like, what do you have to have an experience? Like, give me a break. Are you kidding me? No, you guys, the product is opportunity. The product is opportunity. That's how the services, they're phenomenal. I use the travel stuff myself. I use roadside. I use the telemedicine with my little girl at 2:30 in the morning, like a week or two ago. I mean, I use the services, but I'm smart enough to know that the business is not about the services. The business is about building distribution points like soda machines, and then having those individual distribution points pump out whatever. Who cares if Mountain Dew goes out of style? We'll just slide something else in. It doesn't even matter. And Yoni gets that, and that's why he put this together like he did. And there's more stuff coming. I mean, I know some things that are coming, and they're big. But you know what? I told him, I'm like, hey, hang tight. Let us build for a little while, and that's what we're doing right now. So I encourage you guys to dig in. I encourage you to build. I encourage you to not care ever if the company is in momentum or the company is not in momentum. Who cares? It doesn't matter at all. If you're not in momentum, who cares? I mean, think about that real quick. It doesn't matter. We've created our own momentum by building the business in such a way that is simple that other people can go do. And that's the same thing that you guys are being taught here. So just stick with Cheryl. I mean, she's got some great ideas, and obviously the other leaders that are here with you. And, I couldn't say enough, good things about her and your other leadership that you have. And I'm just excited that I get to, spend some time with you guys. And I hope that this was valuable. And it's like sipping from a fire hose. So I apologize for talking nonstop for 30 minutes. Hopefully I didn't put you to sleep.
No, it was perfect. I just want to take a second and say thank you so much, Scott, for being here. It was incredible. One of the things that I always think of the takeaways that I come up with when I'm talking to somebody. And it's decisions. You ever notice every single thing that he said was a decision? He was at the bank, he made a decision. He made a decision to go to a meeting. He made a decision to go and talk to people. He made a decision to go all in. He's always making a decision. It's like, you know what? If no matter how many years I'm in this industry, whether it's today or 20 years from now, I hope I talk with as much passion as he did today. I hope I'm as excited as he is today, because I know how excited I am now. I can burst at the seams always. I think network marketing is the most incredible thing. I think I tell anybody all the time, but I want to be that guy, right? Sitting across the screen 20 years from now saying, I don't want to be sitting still. I want to be sitting here. I want to be doing something. If you've done nothing but sit here and listen, I hope you guys walk away and make a decision. Go make a decision to be something great. Go make a decision to be all in. There's so many things that you could decide right now just from one half an hour speech. Damn, if you're bloody and pumping, I don't know. You got to recheck it. So that was some good stuff. So I say thank you, Scott, for being here. You're amazing.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right. Have a great night.
Thank you.
We'll see you soon.
All right. Good night, guys. Bye-bye.